Got it. Let me do it again. Thank you. There is no sound. Yep, caught it. All right. Let me just go through the disclaimer. Again, we might be talking about our crowdfund, our syndications, a number of different loans and tenants in commons and syndications and crowdfunds and all that stuff. And that's going to be for demonstration, education purposes only. If you are interested in our crowdfund, the American Recovery Fund, you can reach Brian. And anything else, we kind of need to have an existing relationship. So if you'd like to start the relationship, reach out to Brian, and we'll start to get to know one another. Okay? And I'll give you his contact information at the end. As always, we are on the radio Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. So start checking us out. We also live stream off of there. You can go ahead and get a streaming right off the website. We record in the morning, so we're usually on Facebook, and our shows are on YouTube and iHeartRadio and our podcast. So definitely out there. Check us out. If you want to get sort of hour-to-hour update, go to our Facebook group, Mr. Texas Real Estate with Jason, Bob, and Robert Orfino, and sign up for the group. And you'll kind of catch all our sort of updates as they happen. Let's talk about our sponsor, Jet Lending. Good guys. We are definitely working with them hot and heavy. They're doing a lot of loans for us, and they've come through on all of them. So we're really, really happy. Make sure you give Rob Trigg a call over there, 281-872-7800. Patent title. These guys are deal breakers. If we do not use patent title, we typically don't use the deal. We don't go through with the deal. We're buying a $1 million property. We're just in negotiations with it this week. And one of the things we're negotiating is we must use patent, must use it, right? We just don't want to use anyone else. And so they should be your go-to deal breaker title company like they are for us. So give them a shout, mrtxre@patenttitle.com. If you have a deal coming up, you want a quick introduction, just text me and I'll go ahead and get them get you guys introduced. Capital Concepts, Blake and Sean. Boy, I can't wait to have those guys in our building. Very excited those guys have an office here in our building. So when people are in our seminars and they're like, hey, I need hard money, I'm going to walk them right over to the office because there they are. So make sure you're talking to Sean and Blake over there. Not just hard money. They do the whole gambit. The joke is they can probably find you money for a loan for your Lambo and your boat too. But they do all kinds of loans, so you always want to reach out to them. Hugo, who's in our mastermind, who's a very proficient real estate investor, also owns and runs plans and permits. If you guys are interested in if you need someone to do your plans, if you need someone to negotiate with the city on your permits, his company is the go-to company. So you guys want to give them a shout. They'll help you with your add-ons or your scrapes. 281-372-155555. Okay. Legacy Mutual Mortgage. This is Jennifer Hernandez, a really good friend of ours, big friend and friend of our Mr. Texas Real Estate. Give her a shout, www.loan with Jen. She's going to be your retail loan. So if you haven't done your refis yet on your homestead, it's time to do it. If you're looking to buy a home at the beach as a second home, she's the person you're going to talk to. Very exciting times with her, very good rates. So let's make sure that we're reaching out and talking to Jennifer on your refis, www.loanwithjen.com. Check her out. That's the Texas Real Estate Center. I'm actually here now working out of one of the offices. The back half of the building air conditioner got updated this weekend, so I actually have some air conditioning here. It's pretty nice. We're really building a better community here, right? We've got a lot of things going on, working on glass and our AV systems in and signs. And they've already done one coat of paint on portion of the building. It looks so much better. And we want you to come here. We want you to just be the place where you can do your real estate transactions. Whether you're a wholesaler, a fix and flipper, a buy and hold landlord, a retail real estate agent, or even a commercial agent or commercial broker. We have 2 commercial brokers who've taken office space in the building. This is the home where real estate transactions happen. And we help each other. And there's a lot of folks in the building who are willing to help you guys out. Really put your power team together right here in our hallways. So we're building a better community. Love to see you there. I think, actually, this has already changed. We got another lease. I'll go through this really quickly. There is now 12 singles available, 2 doubles and 3 suites, 1 anchor. So very exciting for us. So we're at 50%. We have about a 6,000 square foot open space we're looking for an anchor for. We have a 100-person learning center, which is great. Really sort of state-of-the-art tech center, studio, classroom. We have a cafe that's coming. That'll be phase 3. We have our call center, which will be open from day 1. We have 40 workstations. We haven't even started talking about workstations here for folks, but we suspect there'll be between 60 and 90 people in and out of here every week doing real estate transactions because they're using our workstations, they're using our conference rooms, and they might be doing their podcast from our broadcast studio. So it's very exciting times. Love to have you here as a part of the space. The Club 45, we're finally going to talk about this next Thursday, not this Thursday, but the final Thursday of the month. We're going to have a little webinar and break it all down. So if you're a real estate agent, you have some experience, you might want to think about coming over to Club 45. Tonight, by the way, we have an open Q&A for Airbnb short-term rentals. And we will be talking about this program that we have. We have a $1,000 online class. It's 10 weeks. We've already done one, so it's 9, but that one got recorded. There's all the videos online on how to get your business going. There's some bonus videos. We talk about acquisitions, the 4 different ways to start working in Airbnb, staging basics. There's some open Q&A, private coaching afterwards. It's $1,000. We can't make it any cheaper. That's a great deal. For those of you that have been thinking about it, there are a couple of you guys who said, hey, we're going to join, but maybe you kind of got lost. I'd say this Thursday will probably be the last time that it will make sense to join, and I'll pull this slide. So it's $1,000 for 10 weeks of training. That is a deal. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every week now, we're doing the COVID update, so it's noon. So it's not Thursday. Come back on Wednesday, come back on Friday. Tonight is open Q&A for Airbnb short-term rentals. Wednesday, we work with passive investors. Again, we're going to start asking people to prove that they're a passive investor by showing us their bank accounts and their loan and their retirement statements. This isn't for everyone who just trying to figure out real estate. We're not looking for a bunch of wholesalers in there. Really want to just sort of tune it to the passive investor. So that's at 1 o'clock, and we just, we usually give 3 nuggets away, and we teach on a couple points. Thursday at 9 p.m. is Side Hustle. This one, we did one earlier this month. This one is for members only. So if you've already joined up for banner season, if you've already joined up for Ambit, this is me working with the folks that are already in our group moving forward. So if you haven't had a chance to pick up one of our side hustles, let me know. We can get that set up by Thursday. And then Friday and Saturday, we have Real Estate 101. I got to be honest, Jason, I really don't feel like teaching this weekend. So unless we get a massive amount of sign-ups by Wednesday, I'll probably cancel this.
Yeah, just kick it to next week. I'm not,
and you're going to be in Mexico, so I'm not all that excited about doing it myself. Yeah, we'll see. And then next Monday, we're going to start. We're in a couple other markets, so we're going to now start doing a SoCal update once a month on the 27th. We're going to have some local experts there talking to us. We're going to start analyzing that marketplace. So that should be fun. So that's what we have coming up this week. Again, like I said, if you want to look into our crowdfund, American Recovery Fund, or if you want to start a relationship so we can start talking about other opportunities, reach out to Brian. That's his email address, brian@mrtx.com, 281-401-9008. Go ahead and text INVEST. We'll get you set up. All right, Brian. I'm good, Jason. What do you got for us?
All right, here we go.
We move you over.
Okay. All right, I'm actually writing an email right now. Dungeons and Dragons and Airbnb, since we're doing the Q&A tonight. Rob, you said something on the radio show today that I thought was real interesting. And I watched this video clip last night, and then I grabbed the Mitch McConnell clip that you talked about on the radio show. And the reason I want to show both of these, because I want to talk about coronavirus going forward and the impact on real estate. Because you said something, I don't even think you said it on air. I think it was at breakfast afterwards, that people need to be very aware of. So let's watch. This is a 2-minute clip, and the next one's about 2 minutes. And I'll probably stop and pause and interject kind of as this thing goes.
Major Garrett in Washington. Coronavirus continues to ravage the states where it has run rampant for weeks. California, Texas, Arizona, and worst of all, Florida, with more than 12,500 new infections there, slightly lower than its July 12th record of 15,300. Not every infection, of course, leads to hospitalization or death. Many people do recover. But each positive test is disruptive to families, friends, and businesses. And absent a significant reversal, the nation appears headed for 100,000 new cases per day. This weekend, we hit roughly 70,000 per day, just as experts warned of rising infection rates in Georgia, Tennessee, Missouri, and Kentucky. We begin tonight with Lilia Luciano in Los Angeles.
Major California is bracing for yet another shutdown as deaths and hospitalizations continue to spike. Down south in Florida, folks are also expecting the worst. South Beach tonight under curfew.
By closing earlier, it actually tones down the party.
Miami-Dade, where 1 in 5 COVID tests are positive, leads the state in new infections. Just today, adding more than 3.
So 1 in 5 positive is nearly twice what we're seeing in Houston. It is running rampant through Florida. It's absolutely insane.
3,000 cases. It's scenes like this that worry officials. As the governor warns, young people are driving.
So I'll tell you right now, I've been to all the bars, anything that's open in Houston, I've been to. And I really don't believe that's what's driving a lot of this. It's this nonsense right here. Rob was down at Corpus Christi this past week. And Rob, I think you had told me it's mostly scenes like this, right? It's these parties at people's houses, it's parties on the beach, it's all this kind of nonsense where this thing is just running absolutely rampant. Rob, you there?
The surge. And tonight, Texas reporting more than 10,000 cases for the 6th day in a row. This as fans streamed into the Motor Speedway in Fort Worth. And in Arizona, a grim milestone, the state hitting its highest daily death toll Saturday. There, the federal government stepping in to increase testing in hot zones.
We're doing tests just to minimize the risk.
California also struggling to meet its testing targets, seeing deaths nearly triple since the state's economy reopened in May.
It was a discouraging week because we just went backwards.
A second statewide shutdown looming.
I think we're on the brink of that.
Los Angeles had its worst week in new cases and hospitalizations. But Mayor Garcetti hopes to keep the economy alive.
We have to be surgical rather than a cleaver that would just shut everything down.
Canada doesn't like what it's seeing south of the border, barring the Toronto Blue Jays from playing at home. Professional sports will resume in New York City without fans as part of the city's entering into phase 4 of reopenings tomorrow. That still means there's no indoor dining. And it's a stark contrast with Los Angeles, where we may have to wait 3 weeks to know whether the closures are working.
That was it right there. Here's the deal, folks. You can agree or disagree what public officials are doing. Great. Maybe you can make a change come November. The end of the day, they're going to close these states right back down. And in fact, Mitch McConnell just about damn near says this, that we're not opening anything up until we get a vaccine.
Well, look, we can't make anybody do it, but we should do it. And the responsible thing to do, based on all the best healthcare advice we've gotten, is clearly and unambiguously to wear a mask and practice social distancing. And I would hope everyone would do that, regardless of registration. The coronavirus is not involved in American politics. This is a pandemic that's affected us all, and the responsible thing to do is to take responsibility for your own behavior. And I think the advice is very clear. And we need to do this for a while until the vaccine gets here.
That's it. That's the whole. We now finally have some idea of how this whole thing's going to roll out. The United States will be shut down until a vaccine is produced. Now, the next question is, when is that going to happen? And here's an article today, Oxford AstraZeneca COVID study. They're just now getting these studies done. There are currently 137 vaccines that they are testing right now. But here's the amazing thing: when you really dig down into this, let me see if I can find it real quick. There's two things that are pretty troubling. One is we're really not building antibodies to this virus like we have other viruses. In fact, in as little as 7 weeks or as long as 3 months, the titer levels, which is the level of the antibody, it's a measure, it's a metric, fall below an ability for your body to fight off the next infection, which is now why we're now seeing secondary infections. But when you dig into this article, and I'm looking for it right here, I thought I had it highlighted. We're looking at into next year. If Mitch McConnell holds true to his word, we might have something by the end of the year, but it probably won't be till this time next year. So what does that mean? I have no idea, because they obviously can't keep the country this locked down, or maybe they can. I don't know. But I will tell you, when I look at this, then I compare it to something like this. Home prices continue to rise in Q2. Home price index rose 8.1% year over year. The most important asset from here on out, and I don't think this is going to be one of those, when you get a hurricane that blows through the state and 4 to 5 years later we all forget about it. I don't think that's going to be the case with this thing. I think the single family home is going to become one of the most important assets for every American family. It's going to be a place to raise your family. It's going to be a place to do your work. It's going to be a refuge, if you will, and a place of safety. So if this stuff holds true, and McConnell, and it seems, truth be told, I saw the Trump interview. It was a disaster. I think the only one, I voted for Trump, and I'm going to have to vote for him again. I just know I am. There's not going to really be a choice here, right?
Giant douche or shit sandwich, right?
That's exactly what it is. But McConnell is the first guy I've heard that sounds like a freaking adult.
Yes.
The only one that sounds like an adult. Everybody else is running around like children. So, and he's actually, with that comment, he's going to take some arrows for it. I guarantee you. But that's what I've been convinced since the start of this thing that somebody has got data that we can't see. Because nobody wins. Rob and I talked about this earlier today. Who wants the country closed? Nobody wins out of this deal. Hospitals are going bankrupt. Businesses are falling apart. Tax revenues are down. The whole world is in peril. So when I see all this conspiracy theory garbage on Facebook, I'm like, well, who wins out of this thing? Pharmaceutical companies are losing money hand over fist right now. Doctors are losing money. I saw a deal this morning that said pediatric well visits are down over 50%. People don't want to take their kids in to see the doctor to get their immunizations. Like, there's no upside on this thing. In fact, the only people I know that are making a lot of money right now are bike shops. Like, bikes are at record high sales, right? But I guarantee you there's not a Illuminati bike conspiracy group out there that is that is keeping everybody in lockdown. So I don't know what I'm telling you guys, if McConnell is right, then this thing is going to be like this for a year or two. We'll see, but it's not looking great. When I heard that, I thought that was crazy. And then I saw this. Mnuchin suggests U.S. should forgive small PPP loans of $150,000 or less, which is about, they have the stat down here, 87% of all PPP loans are less than 150 grand. Why would they forgive those loans? Only reason they would forgive those loans is if they expect them never to be paid back. Well, we might as well not even bother chasing these people down.
Yeah, because it's costing more money to process and then the collection and all that other stuff. Yeah.
It's going to cost more to engage the IRS, which is really not the SBA. It's really the IRS that'll manage the repayments on the PPP loans. And it's more complicated. Don't even bother with it. They just said, screw it. We'll just give them the damn money. Who cares? So I've been convinced from the only conspiracy theory I've had through this whole thing is I'm convinced the government has some data they're not sharing. I'm just convinced of that because no one wins. Nobody wins with the whole nation being shut down. Nobody. Trust me. I know I keep hearing people like hospitals making a whole bunch of money. No, they're not. I know people run hospitals. They're starting to furlough people. They already have in some cases. Like there is no money to be made here. How many, Rob, you would probably know better than I do. How many really, really rich politicians own real estate in New York?
Oh, a good portion of them.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
How many influential kingmakers,
Yeah,
guys who write checks for Senate campaigns and House campaigns
Yeah, they're
across
all
the
there.
country? They're
Yep.
all in New York and Southern California.
It's Rome.
That is Rome right there.
Yep.
And I guarantee you, these guys are losing billions of dollars on this thing. So again, I'm not buying there's this big conspiracy theory, a big conspiracy out there because these rich guys are getting crushed. Manhattan leases dropped 36% in June. I mean, you got to think like who are
The
the
Clintons are losing a shit ton of money. Al Sharpton's losing a shit ton of money.
yeah.
And the buildings that Al owns up in Harlem, they're all tanking.
Everything's tanking.
Yeah, it's not a yeah.
And some of these guys, I mean, if you go back into the old like Hasidic Jew money in New York, statistically,
Jewish money.
yeah,
Use the
statistically,
whole word, please.
okay, yeah, Jewish, yeah. So statistically, some of the smartest, most intelligent group of people on the planet, you could go research intelligence sometimes. There's a reason Israel has so many patents that come out of that place.
Yeah.
And these guys own a ton of real estate in New York.
Yeah,
And they're
Brooklyn,
powerful.
Lower Manhattan for the longest time.
Yeah, and they own, I guarantee you, they are heavy influencers in Congress and
Of
politics.
course.
And if they wanted this country open, it would be open. Like, so some of these guys who are literally the wizards of smart are seeing something we're not, because stuff like this is killing them. It's absolutely killing these guys. I'm still convinced that there's something else going on, and it's not the conspiracy theory, power broker trying to take over the world nonsense. I'm just not seeing that. They've got to see something that we're not, because otherwise they'd make a handful of phone calls and this country would be open back up. Heck, they own all the news. They own the news and everything else. I mean, they could literally change the tone of this country overnight. So let's talk a little about some other investing. These Robinhood traders, the only reason I brought this up, this is a mall operator. They are filing for bankruptcy. No shocker here. But what I think is hilarious is all of these Robinhood traders jumped in to CBL in March and April. And their shares are going to be effectively worth nothing. They're going to get absolutely killed on this thing. They probably should have just invested in some real estate instead. So what's going on in the mortgage market? I think there's some really interesting trends that are going on in the mortgage market. So here are the MBS and Treasury prices, and you can see they're on the rise. Well, at least long term, if you will, on the rise. This is December. This is February, March. You can see they're starting to peak. But then you look at mortgage rates, and mortgage rates are at all-time lows. What this tells me is the market is much more scared than they're letting on. Like they're flooding into assets that make real money, that they can actually, I don't want to say guarantee, but they can really count on those returns from a lower risk basis, meaning the single family house. Well, let me put it this way. Nobody cares about your crown jewel class AA apartment building in New York City anymore. Everyone, it's a flight of capital to single family real estate. The only place that is safe right now is the single family home. And in the finance world, the easiest way to invest in single family real estate is through mortgage-backed securities. And if you're looking at this trend, it's pretty substantial. This is obviously March right here when all the shutdowns started, and then bang, it pops right back up. This is why I'm convinced, Rob, this is why the non-QM guys are increasingly getting into this space.
Yep.
and lowering the rates. And pretty soon here, you're going to start to see the terms change too. Because everyone's beginning to recognize, oh shit, single family real estate is the only asset class that matters. Nobody believes in the stock market. Like, it's all just fake money at this point in the stock market. I mean, if charts like this don't convince you that this is the mob mentality right here. This is mom and pop day traders. Like, that's what's propping up the market. That and the Federal Reserve. Nobody believes in this thing as actual return on money. Like, no, this is not an investment at this point. It's wild speculation. Something goes down, Robinhood traders walk in and buy it all up. However, the single family house is something you can put your hands around. It's so funny. If there's anything this pandemic has done, is it's literally turned Wall Street and Main Street on its head. Where Main Street should be investing, buying the house next door to the house in which they live, instead they're running to Wall Street. And you know what the Wall Street guys are doing? They're running to Main Street to buy all your mortgages. When we started talking about this, Rob, and you started mentioning like the non-QM stuff this morning, and I was like, well, why are the MBSs up? And I'm like, the only reason the MBSs are up is because there's this demand for single family paper.
Right.
And I go back to what one of our investors said, and our partner in our insurance company, when he said, you know what, Jason, the investments my family are having the biggest problem. We thought single family, we just get killed on the flips we're invested in the single family rentals. And he said, little did we know, it's the Class A triple net lease for Applebee's and CVS and Walgreens and all these other triple net. We thought those would pay like a slot machine, and they haven't. They basically are not paying their rent, said, go pound sand, landlord, come get your money, which is exactly what that article was about for these guys. If you look at this is amazing. So these guys, this is a Class B mall REIT. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit that. Class B mall REIT. Of its 108 properties, just 27% paid April's rent. Now, what do you think it is in March? Or what do you think it is in May and June and July? It's got to be approaching zero. Wall Street's not stupid. They're going back in and investing in Main Street. And how are they investing in Main Street? By buying the mortgage-backed securities. If this pandemic has unveiled one thing, it's that single-family real estate, residential real estate, is the most important asset class in the world. It is absolutely the most important asset class in the world. There are a lot of friends of mine who live in very beautiful Class A apartment towers that are all of a sudden thinking, yeah, this resort I live in, the pool's been closed down for 2 months, and I'm a little too close to my neighbors in my 2,500 square foot 3-bedroom apartment penthouse. I think I want to go buy a house now. And that's what this market is telling us. It's been a complete role reversal. When Main Street should be investing in Main Street, they're investing in Wall Street. And Wall Street is not even investing in Wall Street anymore. They're investing in Main Street. It's just so fascinating. And you can see it in the data. I mean, it's clear as day. Look at that. That's for the last year. It's clear as day what happened. Everybody got freaked out right after the closure started. And then all the modeling guys, all the financial analysts, all the really smart people got together and said, oh, wait a minute. Where's the real money going to be made in the next couple of years? In single family real estate. That's it right there. That chart. Now I get a couple of things you had said, Rob, and a couple of things I've been reading over the last week or so. I'm like, now it makes sense. Why do we have record lows? We have record low mortgage rates, in part because there's enormous demand for these mortgage-backed securities. You can see that here. Massive demand. It's driving rates lower, along with the Fed does. I don't want to get into too much of the semantics of how these rates are actually determined. Part of it has to do with supply and demand on the secondary market, which is this right here. The rates are going to keep getting lower, not necessarily in part because of what's going on in the treasuries, but a lot that has to do with this demand. That is insane. Look at that. It's doubled, more than doubled in less than 12 months. So what's happened? Look at the last 12 months. All of these rates are in the basement. That's what's going on. And that actually makes sense when you compare everything else that's going on in the marketplace.
Look at that FHA fixed 30-year.
Dude, it's 2.91. Isn't that crazy? Oh, the FHA 30-year, 2.5.
That's silly.
That's crazy. 30-year fixed at 2.5. 2.5%.
I remember when we refied it was like 4.5. We were all like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" Now we're shaving 2 percentage points off. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you, the house in Sugarland, I told Sarah, I said, you're going to have to refi. And I think now is the time.
Yeah.
I think that loan is like 4.25. So she's going to drop almost 2 points off the loan.
Wow. What is what's your FICO at? Did they have they been doing anything? Have you checked recently?
I haven't checked recently, but it's just over 700 the last time I checked a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's good.
So for those of you who are, I've always been an 800 plus credit score guy, but when you really start using your credit, it starts taking a beating. So
yes, we have
720, 740 is kind of the magic number. So
740 is a magic number.
So you use your credit like you use your checking account, then you wait for it to fill back up and you use it again. So house prices are going to continue to increase 8% year over year. Keep in mind, that's 8% year over year. That's in June. That includes the bloodbath that's happening in Vegas, some parts of Florida, and Miami.
Right.
Get ready, guys. You think real estate's expensive now? Just wait. Just wait. All right, Rob, that's all I got.
Give it back to me. It's a Monday, so we got to look at Travel Club.
Travel Club. Well, we're not going to our Miami place anytime soon. Hold on, let me see if I can pull you up. Here we go. We've only been doing this for 4 months now. You think I'd be a little bit quicker at it. All right. You are now host.
Well, how about Fort Lauderdale? Look at this.
I love Fort Lauderdale.
That is right there.
Ooh, yeah.
It looks like they did a little update. See, they updated the cabinet.
181 grand. Are you kidding me? Dude, it's been on the market for almost a year.
Right. I mean, that's a
motivated seller.
A 150 offer.
Yeah. That pool's totally from the 60s.
Yeah. I can dig that. Take a look at this.
Oh, they coming down? Pending. Oh, look at this. Someone's listening to us.
Price cut. Let's go for the other ones. Yep. Yeah, they're coming. Another price cut. So motivated. I mean, they're Airbnb in these, so I understand why they're not super motivated to drop this stuff. But
well, they ain't Airbnb in it right now. There's no conferences there.
That is true. I'm sure we can go in and get a. So I have things to do this week, but I think by next week we'll have the paperwork up for the tenants in common and move on that Travel Club.
Yeah. Now the question is going to be, I'll do a little coronavirus modeling and see which place we can actually use first.
Yeah.
And then we'll buy in that market.
Yeah. And then I haven't looked at the ski resort stuff, but I'm assuming that no one's getting on planes anywhere, right? So, that was a conversation I had. Who did I have that with this morning?
Well, Audrey just got back from Mexico and she's like, it's a ghost town.
Yep.
And she's like, it's the perfect time to go. She was in Florida 3 weeks ago. I was in Florida 6 weeks ago. I'm like, if you're under the age of not to make light of all this, but to Rob's point, if you're under the age of 45 and you don't have any pre-existing conditions and you know how to don a mask, then now is the time to do some traveling. In fact, I think you're about to wear out Walt Disney or Disney World, if I'm not mistaken.
We have we're going. There are a number of trips planned. 437 days on market, Jason.
Yeah. And then they just get walloped with coronavirus and no income.
Yeah, but I know. Well, let's see what this guy bought it for if we can. I'm sure he bought it under 100,000.
145.
145. Any short sale? Look at that. Guy before bought a 160.
Oh yeah.
145. So hey man, 160. Get you out of here.
Get you out of here at $160, brother.
I think the Palms is probably the best one we found. It's obviously there's casinos and restaurants, buffets, with all in the building. It's pretty modern. I mean, then it's just a matter of negotiating what. I've been in this thing. Then it's going to be negotiating what stuff comes with it.
I'll tell you, it'd be fun. The Fortune Builders Conference, the annual one, used to be there every year. I
Yep.
hope it's still there because then I'll absolutely go if we have a place there.
And then we got to take a better look at Fort Lauderdale, but I wouldn't mind Fort Lauderdale over Miami. It's only 20-minute drive down the highway. So
Well, my bucket list item is take a jet ski from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas. So
Yeah.
I'm game.
nice. There you go.
Which I heard Bahamas are closed. I saw that email this morning. So
Oh, really?
officially shut the Bahamas from travel here.
Couple things here. I'm not a conspiracy guy, but the powers that be will sacrifice the economy. They always do. They always cook the can. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle. They're gonna take the loans. Social, yeah, I'm not worried about socialism.
And as long as we got folks like Nancy Pelosi in the House, I'm not really worried about socialism taking over.
Yeah, she's not a socialist.
She is definitely not a socialist. Her and her husband are gazillionaires. As long as we get like rich liberals in there, I'm not too worried about it. There'll be some,
Right.
Nonsense back and forth, all that.
Right, we don't want to elect the barista bartender, right? Who has outstanding. We don't want that person. That's bad.
Yeah, you don't want AOC in there. You want the rich liberal. I can handle the rich liberal. I can't handle the broke liberal. That's scary. But send old Nancy and hubby in there, and we'll be just fine. We'll be all right.
All right, guys. Any other questions or comments? We are definitely be on tonight for Airbnb, and then we got the rest of the week. So reach out to us if you're interested in the crowd fund, the American Recovery Fund. It pays 9% preferred plus an equity kicker. Let's reach out to Brian. Reach out to anyone. We'll get this going. That's it. Thank you for your time. Have a great week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.